for today. And it's reading, we still reading from The Money and the Law of Attraction, Learning to Attract Wealth, Health, and Happiness by Esther and Jerry Hicks, the teaching of Abraham. And we're also having the card readings from the Abraham-Hicks cards. So it's wonderful to come together for expansion and to feel our allowingness from who we are in all of this, what we desire to be, do, and have, and to enjoy and ease up the whole process of it, and have feeling more and more the alignment through the processes for beingness in the now and forward. And more we are in the beingness and the newness and the refreshment in the now and forward, more it is allowed for us to experience those things we are and that we want. So it's so nice to know and to feel that it's all about alignment. Just tune into the vibration of who we are and then moving forward, always moving forward from that energy. So, and for everyone who knows best, but I will, before I start reading, I will really encourage each and one of you guys to listening to the Best Side Now class we recently had. It was a wonderful energy and beautiful Best Life leader Jen was sharing so much beautiful thing there in the Facebook Live, and I will really encourage to go back. I will do it myself also, but only if it feels good to you, for sure. So you're so free to choose as well. So really good energy. So happy beautiful day, Jen, and happy beautiful day, Lorna and Scott. And we have Julie. You can see her too. So many cool, beautiful people here. So moving forward, this is good. I was reading these last time, but I will read it one more time because it's always when we're reading something, it's new and refreshing. In this moment, like how we're feeling for reading, that's so always newness, refreshment in the alignment in it. So good. Happy beautiful day, Mentor. So my natural state is one of well-being. Abraham, at the core of that which you are is wellness and well-being. And if you are experiencing anything less than that, there is resistance present within your vibration. Resistance is caused by focus upon the lack of what is wanted. Allowing is caused by focusing upon what is wanted. Resistance is caused by the thought that does not match the perspective of your source. Allowing is experienced when your current thoughts do match the perspective of your source. Your natural state is one of wellness, one of absolute health, one of perfectly bodily conditions. And if you are experiencing anything other than that, it is only because the balance of thought within you is toward the lack of what you want instead of what you do want. It is your resistance that causes an illness in the first place, and it is your resistance to illness that holds it to you once it's there. It is your attention to what you do not want that creates unwanted things in your experience. And so it is logical that your attention to what you do want would be appropriate. Sometimes you think you are thinking about being well, when you really worry about being sick. And the only way to be sure of the vibrational difference is by paying attention to the emotion that always accompanies your thought. Feeling your way to the thoughts that promote wellness is much easier than trying to think yourself there. Make a commitment to yourself to feel good, then guide your thoughts accordingly, and you will discover that without even realizing it, you have been harboring resentments, feeling unworthy, and feeling powerless. But now that you have decided to pay attention to your emotions, These resistance, illness producing thoughts will no longer go unnoticed, and it is not natural for you to be sick, and it is not natural for you to harbor negative emotion. 4. At your core, you are like your inner being. You are well, and you feel very, very good. But could a baby thoughts attract disease? How could new babies how could a new baby attract a disease that it doesn't have a conscious awareness of yet? Abraham. First, we want to state unequivocally that no one is creating your reality other than you. But it is important to realize that the you that you now, as you did not begin as the small infant born to your mother. You are an eternal being, having lived many experiences. You came forth into this physical body from a long background of creating. People often think that it would be a much better world if all newborn babies could be born meeting all of the standards of a perfect physical body. But that is not necessarily the intention of every being who comes forth into a physical body. There are many beings who, because the contrast creates an interesting effect that proves valuable in many other ways, deliberately intend to vary from what is normal. In other words, you just cannot assume that something has gone wrong when babies are born with differences. Imagine, imagine an athlete who has become very good at playing tennis. People sitting courtside watching the match may assume that this player would be happiest always playing against an opponent with less skill whom she can easily beat. But the athlete may very well prefer exactly the opposite. She may prefer people who are at the top of their game, who who draw forth from her focus and precision that has not been drawn before. And like and in like manner, many who are at the top of their game in physical creating want opportunities to view life differently so that new options can be evoked and new experiences can be lived. And this being also understand that there can be tremendous benefit to those others who are close by when something different from what is normal is being experienced. People often incorrectly assume that since the baby cannot speak, it could not be creating its own reality, but that is not the case. Even those who do have a language are not creating through words, but through thoughts. Your babies are thinking when they are born, and before they are born, they are vibrationally aware. Their vibrational frequencies are immediately affected by the vibration that surround them in their birth environment. But there is no need to worry about them, for they, like you, were born with a guidance system to help them to discern the difference between the offering of beneficial thoughts and the disallowing of well-being thoughts. Why have some been born with illnesses? Jerry, you speak of the balance of thought, but you are saying balance of thought even from before we're born. Is that why someone can be born with a physical problem? Abraham, it is. Just as the balance of your thought now is equaling that you are living, the balance of thought that you held prior to your birth is also was equal what you are living. But you must understand that there are those who have come forth deliberately wanting physical disability because they wanted the benefit that they knew would come from it. They were wanting to add some balance to their perspective. Before you came into this physical body, you understood that From wherever you stand, you can make a new decision about what you want. And so, there was no concern about your starting place in your physical body because you knew that if that condition inspired a desire for something different, the new desire was attainable. There are many people who have achieved tremendous success in many areas of life who were born into that would be considered conditions that are the extreme opposite of success. And those raw and ragged beginnings served them extremely well. Ragged beginnings served them extremely well, because born out of the poverty of dysfunction was strong desire, which was the beginning of the asking that was necessary before success could begin to flow to them. All beings who come forth into a physical body have full understanding of the body they are coming into, and you may trust that if they come forth and remain, it was their intention from the non-physical to do so, and, without exception, when where you are currently standing causes you to make another decision about what you now desire, you have the ability, if you focus your thought, to accomplish the essence of that creation. Most who are attracting less than wellness are doing so by default. They may very well desire wellness, while the majority of their thoughts are upon subjects that do not support wellness. It is not a good idea to stand in your perspective and try to evaluate the appropriateness of what anyone else is living, because you will never be able to figure it out. But you always know where you stand relative to what you are wanting. And if you will pay attention to what you are thinking and let your thoughts be guided by the feeling that comes forth within you, you will find yourself guiding your thoughts more of the time in the direction of that which will ultimately please you. Let's discuss the concepts of incurable diseases. Cherry. The most recent of what we call our incurable diseases is AIDS. And yet we're now beginning to see AIDS survivors, people who have lived way beyond the time they were told they were going to be able to live. What would you suggest to someone who is already afflicted with AIDS and now wants help? Abraham. There is not a physical apartness, no matter what the state of the deterioration, that cannot achieve perfect health, but that which you believe has everything to do with what you allow in your experience. If you have been convinced that something is not curable, that is fatal, and then you are told that you have it, then you told that you have it. Usually your belief will be that you will not survive, and you will not. But your survival has nothing to do with the disease and everything to do with your thoughts. But your survival has nothing to do with the disease and everything to do with your thoughts. And so, if you say to yourself, that may be true for others, but it is not so for me, for I am the creator of my experience, and I choose recovery, not death, at this time. You can recover. Focus on fun to regain one's health. Jerry. Norman Cousins was Norman Cousins was an au- author who contracted a disease that was considered to be incurable. I don't think anyone had ever recovered from it, but he survived it, and he said he was able to do so by watching a series of humorous humorous television programs. I understand that he just watched these programs and laughed, and disease went away. What would you say was behind his recovery, Abraham? His recovery was accomplished because he achieved vibrational alignment with well-being. There are two primary factors involved in his finding vibrational alignment. First, his desire for wellness was dramatically enhanced by his illness. And second, the programs he watched distract him from that illness. The pleasure that he felt as he laughed at the humor of the programs was his indication that his disallowance of well-being had ceased. Those are the two factors required in the creation of anything: want it, want it, and allow it. Usually, once people have focused upon problems and such enough that they are disallow their well-being and they are seriously ill, they, they, they then turn their undivided attention to the illness, thus perpetuating it more. Sometimes a doctor can enhance your belief in wellness if he has a process or a remedy that he believes will help you. In that case, the desire is amplified because of the illness, and the belief is enhanced because of the proposed remedy. But in the case of the supposedly incurable disease, or in the case of the supposedly curable disease, the two factors that brought about the healing were the same: desire and belief. Anyone who can come to expect well-being can achieve it under any conditions. The trick is to expect well-being, or, as the man in your example did, simply distract yourself from the lack of well-being. Hmm, so good. Did ignoring the illness resolve the illness? Jerry, throughout my adult life, I've never been so sick that I wasn't able to do the work I intended to do that day. In other words, I always felt my work was so important that I didn't consider not doing it. I noticed, however, that if I was beginning to feel less than good, like if I was in the beginning stage of a cold or flu, once I got focused on what I needed to do in terms of my work, the symptoms went away. Is that because I was focused upon something that I wanted? Abraham. Because you had a strong intention to do your work, and because you enjoyed it when you did it, you had the advantage of a strong momentum toward your well-being. So when it seemed that something was detracting from that well-being because of some attention to something unwanted, you had only to focus upon your usual intention, and your alignment returned quickly, and the symptoms of misalignment faded quickly. Often you try to accomplish too much through action, and in doing so, you feel tired or overwhelmed, and those feelings are your indicator that it is time to stop and refresh. But often you push forward in action rather than taking the time to refresh and realign, and that is a very common reason for uncomfortable symptoms to begin to surface. Most people, when they feel a symptom of sickness, begin to give their attention to the symptom and usually slide rapidly into more discomfort and misalignment. The key is to catch your misalignment early. In other words, whenever you feel negative emotion, that is your signal to reach for a different thought to improve your vibrational balance. But if you do not, your signal will get stronger until eventually you may feel physical discomfort. But even then, as in the example you just stated, you can still refocus upon something that you desire, taking your attention from whatever has you out of balance and come into alignment. and the symptoms of sickness must then leave. There is no condition from which you cannot recover, but it is much easier if you catch it in, in the early subtle states. Sometimes being sick provides you an escape from something else that you do not want to do. And so, in your environment, there is much allowing of sickness for the sake of not having to do something else. But when you begin playing that sort of game with self, you are opening the door to greater and greater and greater sickness. What's the effect of vaccines on diseases? What's the effect of vaccines on diseases? Jerry, since we create our illness through thought, then why do vaccines, like the one we have for polio, seem to almost put an end to the spread of those particular types of diseases? Abraham, the illness amplifies your desire, and the vaccine amplifies your belief. Therefore, you have accomplished the deliberate balance of creation. You want it and you allow it, or believe it, and so it is. What about medical doctors, faith healers, and witch doctors? Jerry, well, that will lead me to my next question. People like witch doctors, faith healers, and medical doctors. All of them have their reputation for healing some people and for losing some of their patients too. Where do you see the place for such people in thought or in life? Abraham. The important things that they have in common is that they stimulate belief in their patients. The first part of the balance of creation has been accomplished because the illness has enhanced their desire for wellness. And anything that brings about belief or expectation will give positive results. When medicine and science stop looking for cures and begin to look for vibrational causes or imbalances, they will see a much higher rate of recovery. If a doctor does not believe that you can recover from your illness, your association with that doctor is extremely detrimental, and often well-meaning doctors will defend their doubt for your recovery by pointing out the odds against it, telling you that it is not likely that you will be an exception. The trouble with the trouble with that logic, even though it is based on the facts or evidence that medicine and science have come to expect, is that it has nothing to do with you. There are only two factors that have anything to do with your recovery: your desire and your belief. And these negative diagnosis is hindering your belief. If you have a strong desire for recovery, and doctors are giving you no hope, it is logical that you will turn to alternative, alternative approaches where hope is not only allowed but encouraged. For there is much evidence to show that people can recover from supposedly incurable diseases. This is so good. So your physical as a means to well-being. Abraham, do not condemn your modern medicine, for it has been created because of the thoughts, desires, and beliefs of the members of your society. But we want you to know that you have the power to accomplish anything that you desire, but you cannot look outside of yourself for the validation to do so. Your validation will come from within you in the form of emotion. Seek your vibrational alignment first, and then allow through with inspired action. Let your medical community assist you in your recovery. But do not ask them to do the impossible. Do not ask them to give you a cure to compensate for your misalignment of energy. Without asking, there can be no answer. And attention to a problem is really an asking for a solution. So it is not unusual that doctors will be examining the physical body, looking for problems for which they might have a solution. But looking for problems is a powerful catalyst for attracting them. And so, often well meaning doctors are instrumental in perpetuating more illness than they are able to find cures for. We are not suggesting they are not wanting to help you. We are saying their dominant intent when they examine, when they examine you, examine you, is to find some evidence of something wrong. And since that is their dominant intent, that is more of what they attract than anything else. In time, after they have been involved in it for a long period of time, they begin to believe in the fallibility of man. They begin to notice more often what is wrong than what is right. And that is the reason so many of them begin to attract illness into their own experience. Jerry, so is that the reason why often doctors can't heal themselves? Abraham, that is the reason. It is not easy to be focused upon others' negatives without experiencing the negative emotion within your own being. And illness exists because of the allowance of negativity. One who never experienced negativity will not be sick. What can I do to help them? Jerry, what's the best thing that I, as an individual, can do for other people who are having physical problems? Abraham, it never helps others when you allow yourself to be a sounding board for their complaints. Seeing them as you know they want to be is the most valuable thing you can do for them. Sometimes that means removing yourself from their vicinity, because when you are near them, it is difficult not to notice their complaints. You might say to them, I learned the power of my attention and thought, and so as I hear you speaking of what I know you don't want, I must tell you that I must remove myself, for I don't want to contribute to your miscreating. Try to distract them from their complaints. Try to help them focus upon some positive aspects. Do your best to imagine their recovery. You will now, when you are of value to anyone, when you are able to think about the person and feel good at the same time. When you love others without worry, you are an advantage to them. When you enjoy them, you help them. When you expect them to succeed, you help them. In other words, when you see them as your own inner being sees them, then and only then is your association with them to their advantage. So good. So much goodness in that, right? And more to come. So good. So who's here? Hi, Marionette. And we have some hi, Suela. So many people coming in here. And Ksenia. Hi, Ksenia. And Pauline. Thank you. Thank you to you too. To all of you, thank you for being here. We have Kelly and many new people. So good to see you all here. Enjoying yourself and co-creating with yourself, feeling your own alignment and co-creating with each other, with your alignment. With each alignment, we are beautiful co-creators, aren't we? And we're all in this together in the pure law source energy that is in all of us. So nice. And then happily ever after we live. So good. So good. So now we're gonna read from the Abraham-Hicks cards. Let's see the message for today and forward. What Abraham brings to us now, in this time, in this moment. It's always new and refreshed. This is gonna be fun. So much fun. Always. Every single day there is. When you look for fun things, or when you look for whatever feelings, fun, joy, whatever, and you feel it, more to come. So there, we starting with the law of attraction cards. This is the one, putting up, start reading and moving on. So good. So, dear friends, although you've always been surrounded by the evidence of the law of attraction, a conscious awareness of this powerful law will be activated within you as you experience these beautiful cards, and your deliberate control of your experience will be dramatically enhanced. We know that you are meant to live a joyful life, and we also know that conscious, deliberate self empowerment is essential to be able to live such a life. It pleases us to know that these cards will remind you that you do have personal control of your own life experience. Our love, Jerry and Esther. So shuffle a little bit and see what message, what fun message is coming through now. Now. This is fun. Oh, it's so exciting, this to shuffle the cards and picking up some newness. And that is, there we go, 2 for, we start with the 2 from the law of attraction. Wonderful, wonderful. No, let's see, this is the first one. And it says, within 60 days, it can be mine. This is from the law of attraction cards, so let's read. As you give thought to your future, that may be 10 years or 60 days away, you begin pre-paving. And then as you move into those pre-paved moments, and as the future becomes your present, you fine-tune it by saying, this is what I now want. And all of those pre-paved thoughts will fit together to bring you precisely the experience that you now want to live. Beautiful card. Oh, so good. This is the next one. It's the same picture as this one. You see? Coming together. My manifesting thoughts are buffered by time. My manifesting thoughts are buffered by time. Your earth is a nice environment for fine-tuning your knowledge, for here your thoughts do not translate into instant equivalence. Your thoughts are governed by a buffer of time. If you were instantly manifesting, you will be expending more time trying to fix your mistakes than you would in creating what you want. So good. So we have all the time in the world. Just relax, chill out, allow, and yes, we can have fun with creating our future, with feeling and pre-paving, and there is always a way through for whatever what we want to be, do, and have. Always. Ask and it is given. This is the next one. Dear friends, These beautiful cards capture the essence of the life-changing, best-selling book Ask and It Is Given. You will experience an enhancing of your personal power, which may, at first, seem illogical or even magical, as the energy stream from which these cards have come dovetails with the true essence of your own being. As you return for frequent visits to these beautiful cards, you will begin to notice a definite closing of the gap between where you are and where you want to be on all subjects that are important to you. Have fun with this. Our love, Esther and Jeremy Hicks. This is the card. Thank you. So this is the next one from Ask and It Is Given, and it says, "But whose truth is the true truth? Whose truth? But whose truth is the true truth? With enough attention to anything, the essence of what you have been giving thought to will eventually become a physical manifestation. And then, as others give attention to it, they help it expand. In time, this manifestation, whether wanted or not, is called truth. Deliberate creation is about deliberately choosing those experiences you make your truths. Yes, deliberate creating. Whose truth is true truth? It's individual. Everyone have their own true truths. So nice. And we can pick the side. Health and the law of attraction cards. This is fun. More to come. Dear friends, every part of your life is experienced through the perspective of your physical body. And when you feel good, everything you see looks better. And so, there are few things of greater value than the achievement of health and physical well-being. Not only does a good feeling body promote positive thoughts, but also positive thoughts promote a good feeling body. It is our expectation that as you ponder these cards, a new point of attraction will be activated within you that eventually can lead to a wonderful mood or attitude. For if you are able to find feelings of relief even when your body is hurting or sick, you will find physical improvement because your thoughts create your reality. Our law, Esther and Jerry. Wow, that's good. Let's see. This is good. So this is the next one. So I don't know if you can see it, but it says, I can visualize my body as I want it to be. I can visualize my body as I want it to be. We encourage a visualization of self as you are wanting to be, seeing yourself in that way, thereby attracting it. The ideas and events that will bring it about for you will come into your experience once you begin to see yourself that way. When you feel fat, you cannot attract slender. When you feel poor, you cannot attract prosperity. That which you are, the state of being that you feel, is the basis from which you attract. That is why the better it gets, the better it gets. And the worse it gets, the worse it gets. I can visualize my body as I want it to be. So good. The next one is the well-being cards. So this is this one. Dear friends, that's so true, Jen. When you are feeling good, beautiful visualization will flow to you. That is a good one. That's always true. Because then it's allowed to feel good when you visualize, and then it feels good, and then it becomes more. So, dear friends, words of new perspectives, words of an aligning perspective, words that were once known but somehow forgotten. That's what these well-being cards are about. Words don't teach, life experience teaches. But with these Abraham-Hicks words fresh in your mind, your every life experience will now be more meaningful to you. And since nothing is more important than feeling good, nothing is more valuable than these processes that will allow more of your natural well-being to flow. Have fun with these cards. Let these words inspire thoughts that will attract to you more of that which evokes your greatest joy. From our hearts, Jerry and Espen. Okay. So this is the 3 cards actually from the well-being cards. This is the first one. And it says, seeking approval of others hinders my joyousness. Seeking approval of others hinders my joyousness. If the way you feel depends on anything outside of you, you're in trouble. But if you depend only upon your connection with your own inner being, then everything in your experience falls into alignment. The second, whatever abundance I seek is mine. It is law. Whatever abundance I seek is mine. It is law. Whatever I desire and then allow, I must experience. There is no exception to that. As I hold myself in vibrational alignment with my own desire, I will experience in all ways the fulfillment of that desire. So good. And this is the last one from the well-being cards. So good. And it says, I see this day as a positive new beginning. It's never too late to have a new beginning. I see this day as a positive new beginning. It's never too late to have a new beginning. Today and tomorrow can be very different from yesterday if you can let yesterday go and focus on today. Today and tomorrow are about your now vibration, and you have complete control over that. Look for things to feel good about and watch how everything in your life will unfold to reflect that good feeling vibration. What a beautiful card. So nice. A new positive day. This is so good. And now we're going getting into the vortex. Maybe we already are in the vortex. Let's see. Dear friends, It is always satisfying for me to be able to tap into the vibration of Abraham and to translate their empowering message into our current time and space. I really believe that this deck of cards not only contains everything necessary to attract and maintain wonderful relationships, but it also explains everything that we would ever need to understand about living our lives here in these bodies at this time. Every time I reflect upon the depth of understanding that is reflected in these cards, I am restored to my true nature. This deck of cards is my most precious possessions. Possessions. With love, Esther. I love that, Polly. That is going, why wait for tomorrow? Do it now with a happy thought. That's so good. It's so true. It's always now. So. Shuffling, shuffling. Yeah, taking more time here. Enjoying the shuffling. All the time in the world right now, so there's no rush here. Just feeling good no matter what. Oh. So this is the relationship card. Beautiful card. And they say, I intend to co-create from my place of positive attraction. I tend to co-create from a place of positive attraction. The individual creators who are coming together must be in a place of positive attraction before they come together, or nothing positive can come out of the co-creation. If you are negatively focused and not feeling good, you can only attract others who are in the same state of negative attraction. That is why looking for a mate from a place of insecurity or lack of anything can never bring you the mate you really want, but instead brings one who amplifies current lack. I intend to co-create from a place of positive attraction. Beautiful. And the last one is the money and it's the money and the law of attraction cards. So this is the one. So good. Dear friends, while money is not absolutely essential to your experience, to most people, money and freedom are synonymous. And since an intense awareness of your right to be free is at the very core of that which you are, it follows, therefore, that your relationship with money is one of the most important subjects of your life experience. And so, it is no wonder that you have such strong feelings about the subject of money. It is our expectation that as you ponder these cards every day, a new point of attraction will begin to be activated within you, bringing not only more money into your experience, but the evidence of your absolute freedom as well. Allah, Esther and Jared. Oh, two cards. Okay, good. So this is the first one. And it says, the better it gets, the better it gets. The better it gets, the better it gets. When you deliberately seek positive aspects of whatever you are giving your attention to, you, in a sense, tune your vibrational tuner to more positive aspects of everything. And, of course, You could tune yourself negatively as well. But as you are deliberately looking for positive aspects in yourself or in others, you will find more of those things. The better it gets, the better it gets. For you get more and more of what you are thinking about, whether you want it or not. All is well, all is good. More to come. So this is the last one from the money and the law of attraction parts. So I want to harmonize with my desire. I want to harmonize with my desire. Anytime you feel negative emotion, stop and say, something is important here. Otherwise, I will not be feeling this negative emotion. What is it that I want? And then simply turn your attention to what you do want. And the moment you turn your attention to what you want, the negative attraction will stop. And in the moment the negative attraction stops, the positive attraction will begin. And in that moment, your feeling will change from the not feeling good to feeling good. That is the process of pivoting. Wow. So good. So good, good information, and alignment energy comes through. So always so good. So for all of you who's here, who I could see the comments, and I don't know who else to say, but for all of you, I wish you the best for the day, and I so appreciate for all of you, and that we are all in this together, and whoever who's listening and who was here, I know that you're worthy. I know that you have your guidance system, and that you always have the opportunity to come to a place of feeling good and better and better and better, moving in the forward energy, feel good energy in the source that is always allowing you to feel the best, be the best. It's see the best in you. It's hear the best in you. It's the physical sense in that energy. It feels so much more, and it's all good. And it's always forward energy in that energy, in pure low source energy, and it just expand and expand and becomes more and more. So all is well, all is good, and there is always, always, always more to come. So love you guys so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday and an upcoming Sunday, and see you tomorrow. Namaste.